Hello, this is Dana Bodavis, Instructional Designer at PLU. In this video, I will be reviewing a few special issues to consider as you begin to plan your online course. In many respects, designing a course online is very similar to designing any type of learning experience. However, there are a few decisions you will have to make that are unique to the online environment. We will take a look at 4 of these decisions in this video, including synchronous and asynchronous activities, organizing online lessons, pacing online lessons, and proctoring online tests. Let's begin with briefly examining synchronous meetings. With regard to online learning, synchronous activities are remote interactions that occur in real time, usually with the aid of a virtual meeting tool. Synchronous interactions mimic many of the types of activities that would occur in a face-to-face course. Some online instructors require real-time meetings for instruction, group work, consultations, or live presentations. Using synchronous activities in an online course has benefits and drawbacks. The most obvious benefit is that live communication allows both students and the instructor to communicate easily and receive immediate feedback. It allows communication to be personalized to an immediate situation and makes group work and conversation much easier. The major drawback for synchronous activities in an online course is that scheduling such activities can be difficult and possibly burdensome for students. Requiring frequent synchronous activities may conflict with the flexibility that attracts many online learners in the first place. Also, it can sometimes be difficult to arrange and manage the technology used for synchronous communication. For the Pluto Institute, our recommendation is that you do not require synchronous meetings for participation in your summer course. If synchronous activities are desired, consider allowing students to sign up for one of several live sessions to allow for different scheduling needs. Or utilize synchronous communications for talking one-on-one with students or in small groups. Also, if meeting online, use technology solutions that are relatively simple and cost conservative for students. If you're interested in synchronous online activities, Instructional Technologies offers workshops on web conferencing tools and strategies. When teaching online, you will also have to give special consideration to how you will organize your online lessons. Instruction and activities will have to be chunked or portioned into meaningful and manageable segments for students. As in a traditional course, lessons are often organized around 2 main factors: time and topics. In a face-to-face course, we often think about what instruction and activities we can fit into a class meeting. Online, it is often easiest to think about instruction and activities as they will occur within the time frame of a week. Within a given week, think about the main topics or themes that will be included. In a summer course, a week may include quite a bit of learning activities. Each week will likely contain several modules or units of instruction. Units are not dictated by reading assignments, but they may be influenced by topical chapters in an important textbook for the course. Within units, you may decide to create several lessons that are based on distinct topics. There is no universal way to organize an online course, so you will have to determine what works best for you and your students. Eventually, you will have to build your course site to reflect the organizational structure you have selected. This can be done several ways within Sakai, such as using resource folders, modules, or lesson tools. Using the Sakai Lessons tool to organize your course will allow you to chunk your lessons by both time and topic. It utilizes a format similar to a common web page, which gives you the freedom to implement many different organizational structures. The Lessons tool also allows you to sequence content and activities together in one spot. It is important to note that organizing your online lessons well in Sakai takes an investment of time and careful forethought, so be prepared to spend some time on this important task. As mentioned before, there is more than one way to organize your online lessons. For your summer course, the Pluto team recommends you chunk your content into small, manageable portions. To do this, you may want to start by outlining all the key topical themes in your entire course. Once you have a topical outline, you can begin to estimate how you might divide up the content into weeks. The next step to ensuring a well-organized course is to determine how you will translate your organizational scheme on your course site. The Sakai Lessons tool is recommended to help you organize your course by time and topic. Next, let's look at options for pacing online lessons. In most online courses, instructors control the pace at which students proceed, often releasing 1 week of instruction at a time. Like in a face-to-face course, all students in this scenario participate in learning activities in sequence and in the time frame established by the instructor. To help manage workload, instructors often have several small assignments due each week at regular intervals. In some online courses, faculty structure learning to allow students to work at their own pace. In this scenario, all of the units in the entire course may be open to students at the beginning of the semester. Students are then allowed to progress through instruction and activities at their own pace, completing work any time before the established deadline. Instructor-paced lessons have benefits and drawbacks. Since instructor-paced lessons are most similar to traditional face-to-face courses, students may be most comfortable with this format, especially younger students or those who struggle when working independently. Releasing 1 week of content at a time also allows students to focus on what is due that week without being overwhelmed with exposure to an entire course worth of content and activities. Another benefit to having the class progress at the same pace is that students can interact more easily because they are all completing the same lessons and activities at the same time. A drawback for controlling the pace of a course is that learning becomes less flexible, especially for adults and working students. Lessons may also be less student-centered when learners are required to progress at a pace that may be too fast or too slow for their learning preference. For your online summer course, we recommend that you release 1 week of instruction at a time, with the lessons opening on the same day and time each week. Lessons in Sakai can be set up to automatically open at an established release date and time. Mondays at 12 a.m. are a common release date that works well for most students and instructors. We also recommend that you keep students engaged with frequent activities and carefully paced due dates that help students manage their time and stay on track. To make your course more student-centered, also consider providing students with different learning and assessment options within the structure you have established. Finally, let's briefly examine the topic of proctoring tests in an online environment. For a variety of reasons, some online courses require students to be tested in a supervised environment. Proctored exams may be required for accreditation or may be mandated by colleges or programs concerned about academic integrity. To fulfill this requirement, students may have to take an exam in an approved testing center, or they may be required to use an online proctoring service or program, of which there are several types on the market currently. Requiring students to take proctored tests has its benefits. It can ensure the identity of the student taking a test. Students' behavior can be monitored for signs of cheating, which are then reported to the instructor, and it can help to ensure the academic integrity of a course. However, proctored testing also spurs a bit of debate. Online services can be costly for students or colleges who use them, and proctoring can be an intrusion into one's home, can be inconvenient for students, and can communicate an attitude of mistrust towards students. At this point in PLU's exploration of online learning, the Pluto team is not recommending that online courses require any proctored testing. To discourage cheating, assessments can be designed to be unique and authentic applications of student learning. Multiple choice testing can be used for low stakes and formative quizzing that doesn't lend itself to student dishonesty. In summary, I hope this video was helpful in getting you to consider some decisions you will soon encounter that are unique to teaching online. I have shared recommendations for addressing each of these issues, but we encourage you to contact Instructional Technologies to schedule a personal consultation if you need help or have additional questions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.